What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to have a chat about another Chinese product which is going to make you very, 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 very jealous. This is awesome, and I do think we need to have a chat about it. I mean, look, on this channel we cover One Piece TCG news, and this is very much One Piece TCG news, and look, if I promise you here, if I can find a good hookup to get hold of this, I absolutely will tweet it out. I'll tell you all about it, and I will help you try and get hold of this because it's awesome. For now, we're going to talk about what it is and why you should care. Sound like a plan? Excellent. So what we have is the 2nd anniversary Simplified Chinese Special Product, or something along those lines. That's what they've gone and called it. And you know what? Sounds all right to me. And it's all themed around Boa Hancock. Now, it's not an entirely Boa Hancock set. There is other stuff going on here. But just starting off, it is entirely themed around Boa Hancock. That is where all the real top-level stuff come in. So you get yourself a playmat, and you get yourself a binder. It's cool. And you'll notice, of course, that the binder is very much 7 Warlords of the Sea, which has got a weird, and there's actually more than 7 on there. It's got a weird mix of old and new Warlords of the Sea, which, as somebody who wasn't a One Piece fan when I started playing and has since become a massive nerdy One Piece fan, I actually really appreciate this. I think this is really cool. So I love that they've done that. That is awesome. But the playmat, there's no mucking about with the playmat here. The playmat is absolutely full-on, unabashed Boa Hancock. There's no other characters on there unless you include the snake. It is just a Boa Hancock playmat. It is, as far as I'm aware, and as always, more than happy to be corrected in the comment section, it is, as far as I'm aware, something which can only be gotten in mainland China right now. This is not something, the playmat or the binder, that exists outside, so you can go to mainland China and pick it up, or you can't. Either is fine, but they are essentially your 2 options here. So you know what? Yeah, sounds kind of cool. So that's a nice starting point. You get yourself the playmat, you get yourself the binder, but then we go from there. And you get a whole bunch of other stuff, but we might as well start off with the Don. Yeah, I didn't see this one coming. It's a weird kind of Don. It's a wavy kind of Don. It's a watery kind of Don, which, I mean, I know Boa Hancock's a pirate and all of that. They all are. That's kind of the whole point of One Piece. Didn't expect Boa Hancock to get the water Don, but she does. And honestly, this really does look quite unique compared to a lot of the Don we've seen before with the water effect. I actually love it. It's one of my favorite Don. The fact that it's got the 2nd anniversary stamp on, I think really helps here. I think that makes it look cooler. But this is one of the coolest Don we've seen, and I think that's rather lovely. But then we get to the Boa Hancock promo. Now here's the deal. There are 2 different sorts of the promo. We've got the regular, which does seem to still be serial numbered. And then we've got the super fancy one. The super fancy one is one on the right of your screen right now, okay? And all it says on the website is there is a very low chance. That's all the information we're given. We don't know probabilities, we don't know numbers, we don't know any of this. We just know that there are 2 versions and there is a very low chance of getting the parallel version. Of course, we saw this last year with the Nami, and the fancy parallel version is going to be expensive because, like, this is the alternate art this is Boa Hancock from OP07, an alternate art version thereof. But of course, in OP07, there was an alternate art version of this Boa Hancock, and there was a manga rare version of this Boa Hancock, and okay, fine, it was a different card, but we also had the alternate art leader as well. Boa Hancock has been getting a lot of love in the One Piece TCG lately, and this is just more proof of it. The card designers love Boa Hancock, and frankly, I've not seen many people complaining. So I think people are kind of alright with this, honestly. I think people don't mind it. I mean, in terms of the card is alright. The card is fine. It's not the best card in the world, but it's a decent enough card. What we've got here is an on-play skill that up to one of your opponent's characters, other than Monkey D. Luffy, canonically that makes perfect sense, cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn, and then you place a character of a cost of 1 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. But of course, obviously, you're going to be lowering their cost when you're doing this. It's cool. It's weird that Boa Hancock's gotten quite so much love recently, but I suppose this kind of makes a bit of sense. Now, remember, it does look like both of these cards are serialized, so I don't know exactly how many there are, what the odds are, or anything of that. But if you get yourself the super low number, super rare Boa Hancock, I promise you, if you want to flip that for a little bit of a profit, I do feel fairly confident you won't have much trouble doing so. Of course, it is only being sold as pre-orders over in China. It is not going to be the easiest product to get a hold of, but it is one of the coolest products we've basically ever seen. And at this stage, it probably is worth reminding you that this is very much the equivalent of the Nami product we got last year. Now, that one came with a playmat, but instead of a binder, you got a deck box and frame. It was all very much Nami themed, and yes, there was a super special rare Nami. There was a regular version, and then there was a super special rare Nami version, which was kind of absurd. Yeah. So back to this year's one then. You've got your binder, you've got your playmat, you've got your Boa Hancock and your Don, you've got your chance of your other Boa Hancock. What else have you got? Well, we've got a suite of cards that are 7 Warlords of the Sea. So we got ourselves a Bartholomew Kuma here. This is the 2 cost that came around in OP05 that lets you KO characters and play it for free if you're playing a mixed color leader. It's very cool. The only other non-blue one we've got here is Gecko Moria. And at this stage you should be thinking, hang on a second, Wassy. All of these cards are exclusive alternate art. Yes, they are. This is, of course, the one from OP06, which is absolutely broken. Lets you basically play 2 characters for free. The card is busted. It is absurd. It is ridiculously good. And now there's a fancy new version of it, which actually, if you like Gecko Moria, I think this is actually pretty gosh darn cool. Now, we've also got Edward Weavile here, which is not my favourite character in One Piece, I think it's fair to say. But we got the one that came around in EBO1 here, 4 cost, 6,000 power, and there's no counter, but instead, when you play it, you can draw a card. It's alright. Not my favourite one out there. We've got ourselves Crocodile. Got to have a new Crocodile. If you're doing 7 Warlords of the Sea, you've got to have Crocodile. And this has to be the one that originally came around in OP07, 4 cost, 5,000 power, counter plus 2,000. And on play, you can, well, rest a Don and return a 2 cost or lower to your opponent's hand. It's alright. It'll do. The artwork here, though, oh, these are good. Where there are alternate arts, I'm showing you the alternate arts. But this is just a beautiful card, ladies and gentlemen. I am a big fan of this card. Now, we've also got the Dracula Mihawk here, again from OP07, 8 cost, 10,000 power, and not unlike the Edward Weavile, on play, draw a card. But it's just beautiful. The art, this might be my favourite one of them. I'm showing you the best images we've got, by the way. They're not perfect. I'm trying my best. We've got ourselves a Jinbei, because Jinbei, of course, was one of the 7 Warlords of the Sea. And you'll notice there's 11 promos, including Boa Hancock. They're all 7 Warlords of the Sea. There's just, you know, they change as you go through the manga and the anime. So we've got the one here that came around in OP07. Lots of these did. 4 cost, 5,000 power, counter plus 1,000. And on play, you can play a 4 cost or lower 7 Warlord other than Jinbei from your hand. Which sounds kind of good to me, honestly. Also, like I say, except for the first couple I showed you here, they're all blue. Apparently we're blue. Dabba-dee-dabba-da. Now, we've got the Law that came around in OP07. Like I say, lots of these from OP07. 4 cost, 4,000 power, counter plus 2,000. And as an activate main, you can return this character to its owner's hand. And if your opponent's got 6 or more cards in their hand, they have to put one on the bottom of their deck. And then you get a card in your hand, which just so happens to be a card that's got counter plus 2k. Yeah, that'll do, ladies and gentlemen. that'll do. We have, of course, got Don Quixote Doflamingo, the one from OP07, free cost 4,000 power, activate main once per turn, pay 2, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a 7 Warlords of the Sea with a cost of 4 or less, play it. Cool. Playing cards for free. Sounds like fun. Obviously, we've got to have a buggy here. Not a 7 Warlord of the Sea, I think it's fair to say, when the anime started, when the manga started, but it is now. And we've got one cost, 2,000 power. It's the one, the brand new one from Starter Deck 17, literally just come out. Decent card as well. One cost, 2,000 power, counter plus 2,000. And on play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put them back in any order. Really good in Doflamingo decks. This is cool. And then we finish off with Marshall D. Teach. 2 cost, 3,000 power blue. It is, of course, the one that also came from the brand new starter deck. They've literally reprinted 2 of the brand new starter deck cards, so this is awesome. 2 cost, 3,000 power, counter plus 1,000. And activate main once per turn. Put a card from your hand to the top of your deck. And attach up to 2 rested Don to one of your leader or characters. Again, works great in Doflamingo. So there we go. We've got that set of 10 promos, plus the Boa Hancock and the Don, and a chance to call the Boa Hancock and the playmat and the binder. This is one of the coolest One Piece TCG products we've ever had. If it wasn't for the Chinese Nami set last year, I probably would just say it was the best. This does make things a little more awkward, but this is one of the very, very coolest products we've seen. Make no mistake about it, this one is absolutely stunning. In terms of price, it is 580 Chinese yuan, and that comes out to 80 bucks. $79.90 if you want to be a pedant. I would pay $80 for this all day long. Just please do remember, if you do import it from China, it's likely to be a moderately heavy package. You will end up paying a bit of import taxes, etc. So if you are planning on importing this, please make sure you build that in. For now, I want to know your thoughts about this. I want to know how cool you think it is. I want to know if you're going to be trying to find it. I want to know how much you love it. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.